Imagine building a secure digital fortress filled with valuable data and critical operations. How do you ensure only the right people get to access certain areas without needing a dedicated guard at every single door? Role-based access control, or RBAC, maps users to specific roles by introducing an essential intermediary layer between individual users and the various permissions they need. Instead of directly giving permissions to each person, you create roles that representing job functions, then assign permissions to those roles. Finally, you assign users to one or more of these predefined roles. The core mechanism behind RBAC relies on three fundamental entities: users, roles, and permissions. A user is any individual or system requiring access. A role is a collection of permissions that define what actions a user assigned to that role can perform. For instance, an administrator role might have permissions to create, read, update, and delete data, while a viewer role might only have permission to read. Permissions are the specific actions allowed on a resource, such as reading a document or modifying a database record. This tiered approach inherently enforces the principle of least privilege, ensuring users only have the access strictly necessary for their tasks. To implement this effectively, you typically start by identifying the distinct job functions or responsibilities within your system. For each function, you define a role, such as marketing manager, customer support agent, or developer. Next, you grant the precise permissions required for each of these roles. For example, the marketing manager role might get permission to publish blog posts and view campaign analytics. Only after these roles and their permissions are established do you then assign the appropriate roles to your users. Some sophisticated RBAC systems even support role hierarchies, where one role might inherit permissions from another, streamlining complex permission structures. A key advantage here is the enforcement of separation of duties, a critical security principle that prevents a single individual from having enough privileges to complete a fraudulent action alone. This means, for example, the person who approves an expense cannot also be the one who disperses the funds. Furthermore, RBAC dramatically improves scalability. Imagine managing permissions for hundreds or thousands of users directly. With RBAC, you manage a much smaller set of roles. However, a potential pitfall is role explosion, where too many highly granular roles are created, making the system almost as complex as direct user permission assignment. Careful planning prevents this. Ultimately, RBAC provides a structured, scalable, and manageable way to control access within your applications. It moves beyond individual authorization, allowing you to define access based on the responsibilities and functions of your users. This ensures that, as your system grows and evolves, your security framework remains robust, predictable, and much easier to administer, securing your digital assets with confidence.
If this helps you code smarter, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.